Now, let me introduce to our esteemed speakers today. So, we have today with us Aisha Gupta. All right. Aisha Gupta is a student from Adarshila Vidyapeeth in Delhi. Her 10th scores were around 96.8. In 12th, she has scored around 97.4. Her hobbies are dancing, styling, and baking. And her motto in life is every day is a second chance. Sasha, say hi to our students, please.
Hi everybody, I'm Saisha and I think ma'am justified the introduction pretty well.
Thank you
Looking
so much.
forward to the session.
And forgot to mention, she's in the second year of BBA.
We both are third year students
Third
now.
year students,
Recently entered for
apologies.
third year.
Sorry, third year students. Okay. And the handsome boy we have is Shivam Agarwal. He is from Lakshmipat Singhania Academy in Kolkata. His 10 scores were around 96.6. In 12th, he has scored 97.8. His hobbies includes reading about new industries, chess, and table tennis. And motto in life is to have an impact that lasts. So, thank you so much, Shivam, for taking our time and speaking to us today.
Hi, thank you everyone. It would be great interacting with you guys.
Fantastic. So, let's start with the event. Okay. Now, first we start. Let's start from like 2 years back. Okay. I think you guys started in 2020, right? The pandemic year, right? The special lot. So let's start from Saisha. Saisha, how was it different? Was it any entrance stress, or what was the stress you have gone through? How was the preparation of entering the college, which is Shahid today?
I think entrance stress is pretty common to all the batches. For our batch, what was different was the uncertainty that COVID came along with. So it was online. Everybody was adjusting to the new normal, and everything seemed very new. So for the next batches, they had seen one of the batches doing prep online. We were the first ones for which online classes were held, and we were bound to our houses. So there was this uncertainty outside our homes also about the situation also. So COVID was a pretty struggling situation for everybody, and we were locked in our houses and doing entrance preparation when people were actually using that time to make dalgona coffee or pick up their old interest. We had entrance prep that time. So I think the online factor and the new normal was something that was different to us.
I think that was a struggle time for everyone. Everybody has their own struggles in that time. What about you, Shivam? You were, I mean, 2 years back, we are talking about Kolkata. You were in Delhi and you were in Kolkata.
I
So
was in
was it okay? So how was it different for you? Was it like the test, the entrance exam? How did you prepare for it?
so personally, like we weren't accustomed to the online learning format, and I was pretty adamant that I wanna get an offline class, but like everything shifted online, and like day by day, I was expecting ki today the offline classes would start, but it didn't happen at all. So that was a big problem for us. And secondly, like I was pretty confident about my preparation after the first 1 or 2 months, but then the exam kept getting postponed, and like we didn't know what to do. Like I was there sitting, like studying for 1 month, then taking a break for 1 month, then studying for 1 month, which is pretty boring for me. But I think cracking Sukhdev was a gift that justified all my efforts. So yeah.
Fantastic. Now, when you started your session with the Shahid Sukhdev, okay. Uh, Before I actually ask this particular question about Shahid Sukhdev, just wanted to understand: is there anyone here who doesn't know about the college much? Just a raise of hand amongst all the students we have. ज़्यादा कुछ पता नहीं है शहीद सुखदेव के बारे में. हितेश, दिशा, रिया, okay, हृदय, okay. So just to kind of give you information, either of you can actually give some information to them why Shaheed Sukhdev is such a name when it comes to the education circuit is concerned in Delhi. Do you make the famous QA?
I think I'll start.
Yeah,
So
sure, go ahead.
coming to the basics of a college, just to like sort everything out, we have three courses, and two of them being the major famous ones, which is the BFIA in BBA and Financial Analysis, and BMS, which is Bachelor's of Management Studies. So coming to why it's good, I think the because of the fact that there's an entrance test, we have a very selective bunch of kids coming here, which actually makes the thing very competitive. So it's not just on the basis of board marks, but your aptitude in terms of logical reasoning and all of that actually matters. That's one. Apart from that, I think the teachers are pretty good. The culture in terms of what we've built, what the past students have built is also very good in terms of the societies and all, which I think we'll talk about later on, is also pretty good. So I think that makes it very, very famous in Delhi. Outside, I'm not as much sure if the brand name is as big as maybe SRCC or something, but in Delhi, I think a lot of people compare us easily to the top tier colleges like SRCC. So those are some reasons why it's a pretty big thing, and I think the competition here actually pushes everyone to perform to their best.
What was your AIR ranking, Shivam?
So I got an AR-15 in DUJAT.
In DUJAT, it was AR 15. Awesome. That's great. Any words from you, Saisha?
Yeah, okay. So I'd like to just supplement Shivam's point. What all he said was right on point. And the thing about the competition, so it facilitates peer learning, and that is one of the best parts about SSCBS. So you see so much competition, it motivates you every day. Every person is different, they have their different skill sets, and the culture is very motivating in terms of you want to try new things. You just don't want to laze around or just pass your time in college, but you actually want to put it to something. So that is something CBS promotes you to, and we as students of SSCBS take a lot of pride in saying that it is the best undergrad B school in India. So that is something we like to flaunt out about a lot. So I think that is also another point which gives its
True.
image.
When a college has been surviving for good 65 years, when it has a legacy of 65 years and some real great alumni, definitely you guys can, say that you should be proud of that particular college. Now, moving to after the test, after the test prep, how was your experience when it comes to the curriculum is concerned? Okay. Uh, Moving to the first year with the study pattern, how was it different than the previous years, of whatever studies you have done?
So obviously the curriculum's pretty different from school. Our first year topics were, I guess, environmental studies, ethics, marketing, and all of those aspects. But I think it actually mattered on the basis of who's teaching us. So there's one teacher who's really like took real life examples, just tried to explain through that. So that was pretty interesting for us. While some papers were a bit boring, which I think happens everywhere. And but apart from that, I think the quality of teachers are pretty good. The online medium was terrible for us. Nobody could actually concentrate. But apart from that, I think the learning is pretty high and the standards are pretty high in terms of the peers too. So I think more than what we learned through Zoom classes was through other people, other seniors talking to them and getting motivated by them.
What about you, Sasha? How was the first year for you? Was
Yeah, okay. So to start with, I would like to mention a bit about what is different between school studies and college studies, because that is something it that hits you when you enter college first, and everybody here is going to be transitioning into that. So basically, the difference is school may you have a set syllabus, you know where to look in the book, you know what to study and what to prepare for the exam. College is you have a syllabus, you find out yourself from the book where to locate that topic, what to contribute to that topic. So it is a lot of self learning based. The teachers would obviously guide you, and you can make notes, which we did it in online. You guys should. So you can make notes, but there is this self learning concept a lot. So you have to put yourself into it. It's not just everything is not charted out like school. So everybody reacts differently to that. And apart from that, like Shiva mentioned, we had so the first year is more about basic subjects that builds your base for management and understanding business situations somewhat. And yes, quality of teachers matters a lot, which is something that has been great with CBS.
I think I like to add a point here. So, just as we came to the college from school, we are given the BFI kids are given a project where economics project where they had to prepare a research paper on their own. And this is something which is done in the third year for different courses. But in the first sem, we are given this task of preparing our own research paper, and that shouldn't be copied from the internet. Obviously, we had to prepare regression analysis and all of those other things, which was pretty new. It was intimidating for us, but at the end we struggled through it. But the learning from it was pretty good. So I think the shift there, like we were all discussing, how will we do this? How is it possible that we write a research paper in a first sem? but actually we managed through it, and I think the learning process had been very great and different from what we did in school.
So basically, what I get from both of you answering is the fact that as you enter the first year, the second year, you are expected to take ownership of what exactly being taught to you. You're expected to focus, you're expected to be a little bit more responsible and serious, right? It is expected that Abhi, no more, there you are kids now. So it's something which is going to be serious business. Okay, and that is great. Now, both of you, when did you start when did you actually join physical college? That was last year or this year?
This
This
Physical जाना शुरू कब ये है?
this
February 22.
22. Okay, so in these 2 years I am sure a lot of students must be having these questions because ये हर session में होता है. Attendance कितना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है? Who would actually want to know this? How important is attendance? Anybody here, just raise of hand. Anybody wants to understand how? See, attendance kitna important hai? Yes, I can feel all of you. I'm asking the questions. How important is the attendance?
I think it's pretty important, which is again a thing we rant about a lot in CBS, that the teachers are pretty serious about attendance. Some teachers are not, which is great for us, but it's like minimum you need to keep a 66%, 66.67% attendance, and that's not enough. 5 marks are allotted towards attendance, and it's like a slab thing where you get above 90% attendance, you get 5 marks, above 85% you get 4 marks. Some slabs are there, so which actually makes it tough. Some teachers ignore that and do it on the basis of projects and stuff, but most of the teachers are pretty strict about that. So I think it's a headache for all of us.
So I think this is
So
something it is difficult to get around in CBS. So this is a due rule, due eligibility criteria, but CBS takes it very seriously, and teachers don't let you get around with your attendance a lot. So you have to maintain your attendance, and since we came offline this year only, so teachers are also very pumped up about teaching offline after so long. So they are not giving us an easy time on that.
one thing which I just want to mention because it's very evident is the fact that how sadder the face gets, when you're talking about attendance and the importance and how teachers are deducting marks. So whoever raised hand, I hope you got the answer. Attendance is important. So make sure 5 marks slab wise. So make sure you attend. I think this is something which goes on everywhere, not only with Shahid Sukhdev, but even symbiosis and NMIMS. Attendance is important. Okay. Coming to the next question here. Uh, though it was online, but have you heard about any kind of any festivals or something? Is it like the first year, second year students allowed to be a part of the festival?
Mm,
Any events which happens?
yeah, sure. So I think in terms of there are two types of festivals. There's academic and there's cultural festivals. I think in CBS mostly they're academic fests rather than cultural fests where we have different societies. So there's the finance society, there are economic societies, etc., which conduct different fests in terms of having events like mock stocks, other finance challenges, etc., simulations. And I think that's done a lot in CBS. There's a specific 2-3 week period where almost all the societies have their fests, which is pretty intimidating for the participants. But I think it's pretty exciting too. We get to meet and learn a lot. But apart from that, culturally, I think there are pretty less festivals. They're not as grand as you might see in the North Campus colleges. But yeah, they happen. And this time, I think we're waiting for the cultural fest to happen
The
because it's
schedule.
offline this year. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, that's good. Now, coming to the life on campus, you guys have both of you must have experienced decent life on campus here. Okay, so tell me in regards with the seniors. Okay, first year में normally ragging वगैरह होती है. Did you find your seniors helpful or not so helpful, or how was the experience with your seniors?
I think
Sasha,
my
please go ahead.
experience
Yes,
was good with seniors, so no ragging scenarios as such.
good.
And they give seniors a hard time about ragging. Who wants to get around it can. So I saw there was nothing ragging kinds in the
Okay.
first year. Mostly seniors are helpful. Shivam can share his experience.
I think in my case, the seniors were very, very helpful. So, like, whenever I approached them, even at, like, for example, I was doing valuation and I didn't understand the DCF model. So, I texted just a senior and he came at 2 at the night and sat with me till 5 in the morning, which I
Awesome.
think, which I think isn't something typical of seniors. But I think I found many seniors like that, and I really like this culture and try to take this forward if some junior asks me to. So yeah, I think the culture in terms of peer-to-peer learning, as Saisha mentioned, has been pretty great in CPS. It's
That's
I, I'd even say it's better than the teachers teaching because I think I learned more from my seniors and peers rather than teachers.
okay.
In fact, to add to Shivam's point, the thing that is different with our seniors is it is not like they'll coach you or they'll mentor you till they are in college only. So our seniors have passed away, they're settled in their jobs, but you ping them up anytime. Like he said, his senior sat with him at 2 in the night. So even if you approach them for any kind of help right now also, and not just the recent ones, even the earlier alumni also, everybody is just so encouraging and just always ready to help. So that is a great culture. We have a good network of alumni and seniors, and they're always there to help. So
That's exactly what makes Shaheed Sukhdev so special and so different, and why it has a legacy. Okay, and you just answered it by yourself. So for every one of you, as I'm just repeating myself, look at these faces. Okay, they are in the third year, but in case if you're in the first year and you need help, they just said that the alumni and the seniors are very helpful. So you know whom to approach. Go say hi, and I'm sure they would be able to help you. Okay, moving to in regards with lectures. Okay, so how difficult is the whole semester pattern in terms of understanding, in terms of possibly subject wise? Is there something in the whole curriculum and the lectures which you don't really like about in your experience? Let's start with Saisha. Is there something which you kind of dislike? I would not say hate, it's a very strong word, but dislike. Something which you feel could have been changed.
I think theory subjects can get a little boring sometimes in lectures. Although in CBS, most teachers use case studies and practical examples, they would ask you to give presentations. So, presentations is an important part of CBS throughout the semester. And that is what is different from other colleges also. Even if we are studying the same subjects, they would usually have a simple test for an internal assessment. We would be giving a group presentation. So, you get to learn to work in a team, you get to practice your public speaking skills, and it actually gives a lot of confidence also. So we are better prepared for a job setup for that matter in terms of giving presentations. So teachers use these tips and tricks to liven up the theory subjects also. So it becomes interactive. So we have this subject called legal aspects of business in the fifth semester right now. It is a typical law subject. You just have to learn the sections of the acts and everything, and it can get really boring. But what happens in our classes, so sir is very friendly. We get down to discussing a lot of examples. So if we are talking about the Indian Contract Act, to so he would give examples of some illegal weapons or something like that to make it interesting. And we would be discussing that. We even give examples of a placement cell as contract. So there's a lot of interaction that happens. So it makes the class interesting. And we had that presentation. So our group did a mock trial. So we enacted the court scene, we enacted the court case. So that really helped us to get the concept also. And it was something apart from the normal lectures also. So that way, the disliking part of the theory subjects also gets covered up pretty well.
Hmm. I
Fantastic.
I still think
What a Yes,
sorry.
Shivam, go ahead.
I still think I dislike lab, but apart from that, I think in the first and second sem, I think there are only 4 subjects each semester, which is pretty easy for anyone to cover. Although like there's a lot of theory, but 4 subjects pretty easy. But like coming to second year, you'll get 5 subjects, and your classes would be till 9 to 5, which is basically like a corporate life thing where people say they come into an office. That gets pretty hectic, but I think it's fun to like you're experiencing new stuff and the teachers in terms of, for example, I like finance, so I found the finance teachers pretty interesting. They were giving practical examples. I could approach them outside of college, and if, for example, during the 1 hour breaks we had, I used to go and talk to sir for those for 1 hour and try to explain different topics. I think the teachers also pretty approachable there, which and the fact that they use examples that Saisa mentioned actually makes the course pretty much more interesting than rather giving presentations from a PPT.
Okay. We have Alankrita who's actually asking this particular question. I think you answered that about what exactly the lab subject is. It sounds more like a theory. I'm asking this particular Saisha because, let everybody else, in case if somebody else have the question, they can also kind of know. So can you, Shivam, as you spoke about lab, okay, can you give a little bit more insight of what exactly that particular subject is?
Okay, so basically, it is called legal aspects of business. So it
Okay.
is like studying law, but there's a few handpicked topics that would be laws related to business that you would need in a business setup. So we have the Indian Contract Act, we have Sales of Goods Act, Companies Act. So some business basically. It gives you a better perspective. So when you step out in the world, you would need basic knowledge of law. So I think you get a bit of perspective from that.
All right. Okay. That's helpful.
Shivam, do you want
Now,
to add anything?
yes, please, Shivam, if you would want to add something.
No, I think Saisha pretty much covered the topics. It's majorly about the laws you'd require while doing a business. So I think it's pretty specific to business related stuff, and it's not related to things like divorce and all the other aspects which might come under law. So it's very, very specific, which makes it interesting for us.
It's not really the family side of law. It's going to be more of the business, the corporate side of law.
Yeah.
Okay. Got that. Now, moving to the grading rules, okay? How exactly the curriculum you mentioned, you told me about the subjects. How is the grading structure? Is it strict? Is it easier to score? How exactly it works?
I think it depends on the teacher, to be honest. But out of 100 marks, 75 marks is the written exam, which you can't do anything about. It's basically the end sem exam which happens. The 25 marks is dependent on the teachers, out of which 5%, 5 marks is based on attendance. The remaining 20 is on the hands of teachers, and they take different ways to actually mark it. So there are group activities in terms of presentations, which we might have to make research papers. There might be internal assessments, and there might be things like class interaction. So the teachers divide this into different aspects, like 5 marks for each, or maybe 10 marks for the test and five for the other two aspects, and they grade according to that. I think scoring is not very difficult for most teachers, but some of them, if you don't attend classes, you won't be actually getting good marks in any subject.
Okay. What is your most dreaded subject, Shivam? Something which you don't like apart from lab?
uh, in my first so basically the theory subjects in which you have to like just learn. So environmental studies was something in which you have to learn about different laws about the environment and what is a habitat and all those stuff we did in class 5. So I think I hated that subject, if I may use the word, although it's very strong to use. I didn't like that, and yeah, basically the theory subjects.
How has been your experience, Aisha, when it comes to grading is concerned? Would you agree with Shivam or your experience has been different?
I think I agree with Shivam on that. It's a lot based on the teachers, how you perform, and in the class also matters. In the offline setup, of course, online may teachers also cannot judge a lot. But yeah, those 20 marks are with teachers, and so you have to work for those. And the NSEM exam, like he mentioned, the 75 marks NSEM exam, which is a written exam, it's pretty much like board. So you get a centralized paper, it gets checked centrally at the university level only. So that works a little bit like board only.
And what is your like a subject that you dread, not too happy with?
I think I didn't like human resource management in fourth semester. We didn't study it actually, so I don't know the subject
So
properly.
the reason for not liking is different. Okay.
So I didn't like it, never caught enough attention for me to study.
Okay. Okay. So let's take some questions because we are getting a lot of questions. Chat box. Do not use chat box for question. Alankrita, Drishti, please use the Q&A box. It would be very difficult for me to understand which one is answered. Taking the first question, we have an anonymous attendee asking a question. If I have an MBA later, so will BMS from Sukhdev be better than BCom honors from SRCC? So just to answer that particular question, The anonymous attendee is asking about a BCom honors from SRCC or BMS from Sukhdev. Either of the either of the institutions, or if you're looking at colleges, both of them has its own legacy. So if you do a BCom or you do a BMS will only kind of give you a little bit of understanding, in terms of a little similar subjects, but it will not really make a difference. Because MBA के लिए आपको शुरुआत से ही you will have to possibly do CAT, or it will gonna be a different ball game altogether. If you're doing MBA, it would not make a difference. If you're doing a BCom, you're doing BSc, BA, it would not make a difference. I hope I've answered that question. We have Malika now asking that if I'm not wrong, the entrance for BBA exam does not test us on our 12th class domain subjects. So did you start your preparation for the subjects required for the entrance like VA, LR, etc. in the 12th along with the board curriculum, or you started it after your boards and was able to crack it?
So in our year, I don't know about CUET this year. In our year, it was basically these four subjects, and no, I didn't start it during my class 12. It was after the boards I actually started preparing after joining IMS. And coming to the overlaps, I think math really helps, knowing trigonometry and stuff like that. But majorly, those were for I'm Indore. I think class 8, 9 math in terms of the chapters like percentages, allegations, etc., were more important in DU chat rather than trigonometry and coordinate geometry. So even after starting preparation after 12th, it was pretty easy to like get a decent ranking if you have a basic knowledge of these basic math topics.
Sasha, any words from you?
Yeah, so I also started preparation after 12th boards only. I took a crash course after boards, and like Shivam said, my experience was pretty same. So you get a little help from maths. 11, 12 maths also comes for certain proportion in DU chat, so that is called higher maths at IMS. So that constitutes a portion, so that would help you a bit. But otherwise, yes, I also did my preparation after 12th only.
Okay, great. Now, I hope that has answered your question, Malika. Ria is saying that, ma'am, please allow us to talk if possible. We have doubts to clear. Okay, Ria, I'll allow you to talk. I'll give you the permission. Please go ahead. Where's Ria? Ria, can you please raise your hand? Ria Garg? Yes. All right. Can't see her. All right. Got it. Ria, you can switch on the camera and you can ask the question.
Ma'am, is it okay to change our courses to get admission in Delhi University if we don't get admission in our desired course? Like I want to go for BBA Finance, but my score for that is little low. But I can get BCom honors in Delhi University. So is it worth?
Okay. I would like to take that particular question. So, Ria, it is a very individual choice, okay, and it all depends upon what exactly you are looking as your future path. If you are looking forward to do an MBA, again, as I mentioned, even Shivam and Saisha kind of agreed. If आपका एम है कि आपको MBA करना है, तो आप BBA करो, BMS करो, BCom करो. After your graduation, your MBA would be your main degree and which would ideally be kind of looked at. So my question to you is, आपको future में क्या करना है? आपका MBA का plan है, or you have some other things in your mind?
Ma'am, not much for MBA actually.
Not much for MBA. So
No,
if
ma'am.
you're not, much for MBA, if you are very keen on BBA, look out for, colleges which would offer you that. If you're not really getting, options for MBA, look at which college is offering what kind of placements, because eventually the college in regards with, where you would be studying BBA, अगर वो दोनों at par है, तो फिर आपको change करके क्या मिलेगा? और course change कर लिया, then even what kind of field you are looking into as your career, that also matters. So
Okay, ma'am.
it completely depends upon आपको क्या करना है. So first what you need to do is sit down and kind of decide कि अगर BBA करना है तो मेरे पास options क्या होंगे, और अगर कुछ और करना है तो options क्या होंगे. If you want to have a one-on-one chat with me, I'll send my number to you. You can just DM me on Telegram if you're on Telegram. We can have a one-on-one chat, and possibly that would clear your head. Sounds good?
So yes, ma'am.
ठीक है. Fantastic. So anybody else who wants to ask a question, or I'll take another question then? All right. Moving to the next question here, BBA, FIA versus BMS, which one is better? An anonymous attendee is asking.
I think I'll take it up firstly.
Please.
It really depends on interest, obviously. So, for example, I think Saisha is interested in marketing and she's taken up BMS marketing in the third year, versus I'm pretty interested in finance, which I realized later on, and I've taken BMS finance. So, like for me, I think BFIA would have been a better choice because ultimately I took finance. But till then, I wasn't really sure about that. That's why I took BMS. I think it depends on your choice. If you're interested in finance, I'd definitely say BBFI has definitely better subjects than BMS if your interest is finance, because in BMS, I think you'll have subjects like HR, which might not be interesting for a lot of people. It personally wasn't for me. While BFIA has a lot of things like investment analysis, public finance, public markets, etc., which is very specific and might be interesting for someone like me, but not for Saisha. So it's just to summarize, it's a personal choice. But if finance, then BFIA.
I think I completely agree with Shivam here. And the way I decided if I wanted to go for a BMS and or BFI was, so I was qualifying for both. I was not sure at the end of class 12th whether I would want to look at a finance profile or a marketing profile or an HR profile later. So it was very new. I wanted to explore the subjects first before I make a choice. And I wasn't very sure about finance then. Like Shiva mentioned, if he had been sure about finance, then he would have picked BFIA. But so what is the difference is BMS gives you 2 years of general studies. So you learn about general management, you learn about financial management also, marketing also, and HR also. So there will be bits and pieces of all the fields. And then in the third year, you're asked to pick a specialization out of finance, marketing, human resources, and global business operations. So in BMS also you pick a specialization, but that happens in the third year. So by the time we came to our third year, we were ready to make that choice between finance or marketing or HR. So like he went into finance, I went into marketing. But if somebody is clear from the beginning that they want to go into finance, then BFI definitely is a better choice. It gives you more refined subjects and prepares you well for the finance field, I guess.
Fantastic. I hope that has answered your question. And that was very well explained by both of you, must say that. Another anonymous attendee asking, did you consider IPM for IIM Indore or IIM Rohtak? Either of you.
So it was in my radar, but I think because the test was on the same day, I think we are pretty unlucky in that sense. So we had to choose between one, and I thought that I'll maybe try for a better for the top three IIMs later on, or maybe a GMAT. So I left the test for IPM Indore and rather gave the DHR.
I also considered both IIM Indore and Rohtak. At our time, there were only these two programs available. Now there are more, I think.
Absolutely.
So
They are.
I got cleared into IIM Rohtak also, but I didn't take an admission because I had a good board percentage and I had good chances for DUJAT also. So again, like I wanted to try for a better IIM later through CAT, and I had a chance at a decent graduation from DU, whether it was a BCom honors from SRCC or Hansraj Hindu or a BMS from SSCBS. That wasn't certain at the time, but I had better chances, so I didn't want to get logged into a 5 year course. I wanted to try for a better IIM later. So otherwise, I'd gotten into IIM Rota, and IIM Indore was pretty much the same story. Our batch did not get the option itself. DUJAT and IIM Indore were collapsing on the same day. They were at the same time. So we had to make a choice. I made a choice because I thought it was better to stay in Delhi for graduation, and there are more options of colleges than IIM Indore.
Absolutely. Now, it is a very individual choice for every student when they are actually taking up a program. So ये क्वेश्चन जब हम किसी को पूछते हैं कि आईपीएम क्यों नहीं लिया या आईआईएम में ट्राई क्यों नहीं किया, it's something which I don't know a lot of you must be aware of this or no, that we have IMS have a lot of students who are right now studying in IIM Rohtak, okay, in IIM Indore. A lot of students from IIM Rohtak are actually looking at for a better IIM. Okay, so ये जो होने वाला है, this would ideally happen. It's a choice what you will have to make and what exactly your path you are choosing. So इसका एक ही bottom line है, to be very clear of what you are looking. Till you don't find it, keep on asking questions, keep on speaking to people who would be able to help you, and I'm sure this would be clear. uh, Moving to the next
So
question.
I would like to add one point to what
Sure.
you said. So again, like you mentioned, it is a very personal choice. It comes down to personal perception also. So there were many people who told me that why didn't you take IIM Rohtak? It is still an IIM. Like when I mentioned that I want to try for a better IIM, there were a lot of people who said it was still an IIM, you were getting into an IIM. So I think that is a personal perception thing. Some of
Absolutely.
my friends still think I should have considered that because it was an IIM, and I felt I wanted, if I wanted to go in an IIM, I wanted to go in one of the top ones. And then I got into CBS, so there's no regrets on that. So it comes down to personal perception, I guess.
Absolutely, it's a personal perception, it's about your personal goals, it's about what you are looking at achieving. So ऐसा नहीं है कि I am, yes, definitely in terms of placement, IIMs में placement better हो जाएगा, but again IIM रोहतक से अगर हम लोग IIM अहमदाबाद compare करें, placement would again be different. Okay, so it's to each its own, let's put it very safely there. Okay, now the next question is again from Alankrita, who's asking that if we are not sure right now whether we want to do a MBA later, or then how should we decide whether we want to do eco honors, BCom or BBA right now?
I think the question is more towards economics versus BBA, and
BCom and BBA, yes.
yeah, because if you're pretty much interested in economics, then take economics. Otherwise, I think the college matters more than the subject, because I think the learning is pretty much the same in terms of subjects. I think we're learning a lot of BCom subjects. They are learning a lot of subjects from BFS. I see a lot of overlaps when I talk to people when discussing syllabus. So it comes down to what college you're getting, what people around you are there, and what brand name you're getting. Because I think that matters more than the subject in terms of BCom versus BBA.
So
That's my personal opinion, but
that's
yeah.
your correct. What about you, Sasha? What do you think?
Yeah, so the difference between Eco and BCom honors comes from your interest, like Shiva mentioned. So that's purely based on your interest and what fields you're looking at in the future. So economics honors goes into a bit of different fields. And apart from BCom and BMS, if you have to make the difference between the two, like Shiva mentioned, even I found a lot of same subjects in different semesters for both the courses. What I found different, and that may be specific to BMS at Sukhdev only, not in the other colleges. I'm not sure of that. So even if you're studying the same subject in BCom honors and in BMS, you study the subject with a more bit of depth in BMS, and the since everybody says BMS is a professional course, BCom honors is a traditional course. So even if you're studying the same subject, the difference comes from how you're taught the subject and like assignments. So we make research papers, we do presentations. So we look at it from a more practical perspective and experience based perspective, not just a theory perspective. So there's a little bit more depth to it, but that could be just something that is specific to Sukhdev also. So that is one difference I have observed between BCom honors and BMS or BBA for that.
Absolutely. I must say, Sasha, both of you have answered this particular question well. But just, in terms of from the, from the other side of the table, when I'm kind of seeing a lot of students and interacting with universities, Alankrita, whether you want to do BBA, whether you want to do BCom or economics, first understand what exactly you are more inclined towards. Economics अच्छा लगता है, economics की theory समझ में आती है, economics as a concept, if you can relate or you are keen to know, economics is what you need to go for. If business studies, accounting is what you kind of comfortable with, go with BCom. MBA can always be done later on. Okay, if you're not right now sure कि MBA करना है कि नहीं करना है, it's not that career options would be dead after, अगर आपने BBA नहीं किया तो. Career options would be available in BCom, and if you do economics honors, if you do, apart from the BBA credit, which is actually more of a, as she said, the content heavy in terms of more of a practical, kind of course. So first understand what you would be, because if you end up doing a program which or a course which you're not too happy with, then you're not going to do justice with it. So first understand which course you want to do. Once you graduate, then see what exactly is interesting in terms of your work wise. And then, as it's mostly people go with the flow. If you look at a lot of executives who are right now possibly company CFOs or on a higher post, the start of the career, it's more of a flow what they look at, and eventually they kind of built up on their career. So don't take too much load, think about it, make up your mind, and then kind of take decision. I hope that has answered your question. Another anonymous attendee, I heard SSCBS didn't have electricity for a day recently due to who is asking that question? Non-payment of dues. Is that true? My God, do we have a journalist around here? I'm sorry, but this is completely out of context. Uh, I we can do a pass. How would they know? How
It
would they
actually
know?
happened. It actually happened 3 to 4 days ago where because the university maybe didn't get funds from the center, the electricity was actually off.
Wow.
Protest is a part of DU. Even teacher protests and strikes are a part of DU as a whole. It is very important to the whole DU culture.
Okay, I hope the anonymous attendee have got the question. I'm extremely sorry, but this is something I don't know. I'm just finding this very funny. And strike is not something. I'm from Mumbai, so it's not really a culture in Mumbai. So it's something which is very weird. But yeah, so हाँ payment नहीं हुआ था तो electricity एक दिन के लिए नहीं थी. But I'm sure it was back. Moving to the next question. BBA, FIA, or BMS, which course is better? We have two students who have taken either of the courses. Now, which one is better? I think, Shivam, go ahead.
So the question is BBFIA better than BMS or the vice versa, right? So again,
Yeah.
I mentioned it's basically about interest, right? And for me, BBFIA seems better, but like for Saisha, obviously that doesn't make sense. So
Okay.
if you're interested in finance, take BBFIA. If you're undecided or maybe interested in marketing, HR, law, etc., not law, marketing, HR, etc., then take BMS.
I hope that has answered your question. Palak, when it comes to any course you want to go for, BBA अच्छा है या finance अच्छा है या economics अच्छा है, this is for everyone. Okay, which program is better than what would not matter. ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आपको इकोनॉमिक्स में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है और आपको किसी ने बोला इकोनॉमिक्स अच्छा है या फाइनेंस अच्छा है, फाइनेंस में जाओ, पर फाइनेंस में इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है, हाउ यू गोना सर्वाइव? इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं होगा सब्जेक्ट में तो पढ़ोगे कैसे, 100% दे कैसे पाओगे? इट इज नॉट अबाउट अच्छा है तो जाओ, इट्स अबाउट पसंद है, देन ऑप्ट फॉर इट. आई होप बोथ ऑफ यू वुड एग्री विथ मी,
Hmm.
राइट? So that's exactly should be the funda for you. Don't go because program अच्छा है, वो आपकी मदद नहीं करेगा. वो देखो, अगर आपको इंटरेस्ट है then you would be, no matter what the program is, I can 100% assure you that you would be able to carve a path for you, और कुछ ना कुछ तो अच्छा उसमें से definitely निकलेगा. Out of experience, this is something which I'm speaking. Alankrita is saying, ma'am, please can I speak once? Yes, Alankrita, कहाँ हो, बस अपना हाथ उठाओ. Yes, I can see you. All right. Alankrita Vermani, please go ahead, ask your question.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Saisha. So basically, my question is that I had a interest in economics in my grade 12, but I talked to a few of my seniors and they told me that economics is like a heavy course and basically there's a lot of maths involved and I don't personally like maths that much. So basically, I was drifted a bit towards BCom and other courses because of accountancy. Like accountancy, I scored 99 in my boards. So accountancy also I'm really good at and I enjoy also. So that's also not a problem. And now after my CUET score, basically for economics, my total is coming a little less than 700. And for BCom, it's more than 750. So my chances for a better college are with BCom rather than with Eco. So basically, my problem was whether to take economics or BCom. I talked to a few of my seniors, like you'd suggested also. So they said that college matters more than the course. Like if you're okay with both courses, and look at the college then. but I wanted to get your perception on it once.
I hope you got the perception, Alankrita.
Yeah, I got it, ma'am, but I'm not too sure still.
Okay, if you're not too sure, no
Economics
problem.
honors
I
is a heavy course. Even I've heard that. And one of the reasons I was less interested towards economics honors was that it involves a lot of maths, and I did not like maths. So it is half eco and half maths. So you will have to you need to keep in mind if you can handle that kind of a workload. And if you have interest in eco, do you have an interest in maths? Because that is like 50% of the course. So you would need to keep that in mind.
Okay.
fantastic. I hope that has helped. And moving to the next question, we have almost 11 questions in the Q&A box. Let's take them very quickly. Will you go for a job experience now or direct catch? Which bus are you gonna sit on? Shivam, what about you?
So
Cat?
personally, I planned to do CAT, but now I think I've changed my decision. I'll sit for placements. I've been sitting for interviews and do CAT, the study for CAT during the job and do it after 1 or 2 years after gaining some relevant experience. Because, like, personally, I've talked to some seniors who told me that this is a better option. And given the fact that you'll have some experience, so maybe you'll get better placements after doing maybe a CAT from, let's say, a top IIM. So like my CV would be built and my experience would actually help me secure a job after 2 years of time. So yeah.
True. Taisha?
My answer is same as Shivam. Even I'm studying for placements right now and planning for taking job experience for about 1 to 2 years, prepare for CAT side by side, and then appear for CAT. I think it's pretty much the same as Shivam said for me. So again, this is also personal choice. Like many of our friends are giving direct CAT because they want to dive into an MBA right now. I did not want to dive into an MBA because I wasn't very clear on whether I want to do a particular field MBA right now. So I want to experience a job first and then I'll go for an
Which
And
is
it's
absolutely normal. Which is absolutely normal. And fine.
just just adding one point here. So even the people who are going for a CAT, what they did was they applied for a lot of companies at the start, got a placement, maybe not at the best firm, but at a decent firm as a backup, and now they're studying full-fledged for CAT exams, which is 2 months or later on. So this is also an option people can look. So majorly, I don't think anyone has dropped placements for CAT. This is taken placements as backup, and if they don't get in a top IIM ABC, the backup would actually come in handy.
So the point here is that क्या कैट लेना चाहिए या प्लेसमेंट लेना चाहिए सी यू वुड बी डिसाइडिंग तुम्हारे लिए अच्छा क्या होगा ठीक है सो इफ यू आर लुकिंग एट डूइंग if you want to kind of take up cat go ahead and take up 2 साल के बाद भी लोगे the experience for the corporate would kind of increase for you however make sure for both of you as well Shivam and Saisha make sure the cat preparation is not stopping
Yeah,
corporate world have a tendency of absorbing इतना ज्यादा एब्जॉर्ब कर लेता है कि बाद में बाहर निकलना मुश्किल होता है सो बट मेक श्योर दैट continue preparing for cat and make sure that you kind of get through a good IIM. I'll be very happy. Moving to the next question, better is BBA or BBA honors?
I personally don't know the difference between
I also don't know. From the general perception, like I think an honors course involves maths and a normal course does not, but I'm not sure if BBA has that alternative, or it could be some specific college offering that. So even I don't have knowledge about that.
So BBA and BBA honors would just mean about the specialization. Okay, so BBA honors normally turns up to be 4 years. जो लास्ट ईयर होता है उसमें आप एक पर्टिकुलर कोर्स के साथ में स्पेशलाइज करते हो कितने कॉलेजेस हैं जो 3 इयर्स को भी बीबीए ऑनर्स बोलते हैं नाउ इट ऑल डिपेंड्स फ्रॉम यूनिवर्सिटी टू यूनिवर्सिटी फ्रॉम कॉलेज टू कॉलेज every college has a different way of kind of delivering a certain course. So which course you want to go for, how the college is, uska kya legacy raha hai, uska kya placements hai. That is something a research you will have to do yourself. If you need help, Telegram handle mentioned. Do let me know. I will try my best to help you out with the best way possible. Moving to the next question. Alankrita Varmani, ma'am, could you just give me a point of view also? I think we just spoke after I think the question was placed. Alankrita, just in case if you have further questions, please, just ping me on Telegram. We'll have a chat on Monday. North Campus versus SSCBS. whose exposure is better?
I think in terms of campus life, we don't really have fun. It's majorly a building, and the people are very lesser because I think don't think that colleges around us, so that the we don't have a student vibe around college. But I think that's a big disadvantage of CBS compared to the North Campus. But I think there are other factors which balance it, and maybe some people would prefer the other aspects over a campus life.
Okay. Saisha, anything from your
I
end?
think I have the same answer. So if you're looking for a campus college life, then North Campus is a better answer. CBS does not give you typical campus exposure, but yeah, it gives you other opportunities. So it's a trade-off between the two.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to query on admission through sports quota. Is judo sports provided by the university? And if yes, then does it provide better faculty? Would you be able to answer this particular
Um,
question?
I think I can answer that question. I don't think there's any differentiation between faculty in terms of any quota. So it's majorly the sections are allotted, and like they have normal teachers like allotted like schools. So I don't think that is an aspect. But apart from that, I don't know about the quota rules because I didn't apply for anything. I didn't research about it.
In my understanding, quota, not too clear on that particular aspect. But dear anonymous attendee, please ping me. Let's see. Let's find this particular answer. If this is something which would help you, then let's see. It's something which I've heard for the first time, but we can always find the answer for this.
I
It
think
would be
quota
mhm,
is just about the admission process. So you enter a different way. There's no difference in the structure of the course or teachers or anything
true,
inside.
absolutely. एक बार कॉलेज में चलेगा तो सारे बच्चे एक ही जैसे होंगे टीचर्स आपको इक्विवेलेंटली पढ़ाएंगे unless it's a different situation altogether. It's all going to be the same. It would be great if they talk about Sukhdev College. Okay, a lot of students are not from Delhi. Okay, so at the start of the webinar, I kind of asked you that what makes Sukhdev so stand out. So uh, either of you would like to possibly repeat, because I feel that the person have joined the later part of the webinar, so have not really heard the start part. Can we just repeat that quickly? Taisha, Shivam, any either of you can take this
Shivam,
up.
you go first, I'll add on.
Sure, for me, I think the major selling point of SCVS is the pure learning in terms of the competition. And we have a culture of societies, and the major focus of societies is to ensure that the juniors learn as well as the seniors. So it's majorly we having seniors teaching us stuff, we teaching stuff we know to them. I think that really helps. Apart from that, I think there's a great culture in terms of having participating in competitions, doing different activities like research, writing research scripts, etc. And the constant push I think I get from my friends from seniors is something I is really differentiates CBS amongst other colleges.
I think Shivam pretty much covered everything. To just sum up, so there is a place that is going to offer you a multitude of opportunities. It is up to you which ones you pick, and that is how you define yourself in college. So there is just so many opportunities, and I think it is different for everybody. Shivam would have a different. So if you ask us what our experience at CBS has been like, he would have a different answer. I would have a different answer. Anybody in college would have a different answer because there's something unique about everybody, and you handpick what you want to do. So yes, society culture is an important part of CBS culture, I would say, and it is actually helpful in a lot of ways. You learn a lot of things, lot of skills through societies only. And so we have this concept of a core committee also, so that gets you help in learning management skills also, people skills and management skills and how to handle a team and everything. So there's a lot of different kind of exposure and experience in that sense. You have to
Okay.
pick out your opportunities.
And just to add, for on record, why Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies is one of the best colleges in DU, and that is something which you would find on Google. A lot of you, I'm sure, must be using or kind of googling it. So it is one of the best college. The reason being, uh, it comes with a 65 years of legacy. It's established way back in 1987. It has been ranked best college in BBA 2 years consecutively, which is 20 and 21. Okay, so if you want to understand why it is good in regards with check boxes होता है ना कि ये अच्छा है, and also the placements are very good. you would find the average placement works out around 7 to 8 lakhs and the lowest goes to around 4. इससे भी ज़्यादा है, I think the highest placement somebody has got is around 19.5 lakhs as per
I think it was
the
something
website.
around 20 to 21 last year.
Okay,
And this
so
year, I
yeah,
think
So
one
it
person's
is.
gotten a job offer from BCG with average with a CTC of 24 lakhs. So I think the placement is pretty good. Although like we can't compare to something like SRCC, but amongst other DU colleges, our placement is actually good. And yeah, so placements, and I think it's improving day by day. So, for example, BCG came for the first time to a college this year. We're expecting more MBB firms, like basic consulting firms, and more finance firms to come from next year. The teachers are pretty hopeful, and I think there are other companies like AB and Bev and other companies that might come to college this year. Maybe, like it's not
fantastic.
sure, but yeah, the placements are generally improving.
So, what makes a college good? The legacy, what it comes with, the alumni which are actually passing out, and what name are they establishing? The kind of culture which is followed amongst the alumni. So, as initial part of the webinar, Shivam and Saisha mentioned that alumni are very helpful not only while they are studying in the college, but even after they pass out. Okay, so that really makes Sukhdev, a different or rather a special college and a good one. Okay, moving to the next question, do we have hostel in campus for BMS?
Yeah, we have hostel, and I actually stayed for like 6 months in the for the last fourth semester in the hostel, and yeah, we have around 60 seats in the hostel for boys and roughly the same amount for girls. So
Okay. In what subjects were you interested in class 12th that led you to opt for BMS course? Soumya is asking. Was there a particular subject in 12th which kind of triggered you to pick up BMS? I think Saisha, you would be able to kind of answer this particular question.
Yeah, I think it was some part of business studies and accounts for me. So basically, BMS is management studies. It is about, so I think in class 12th only it is there. You study about management and marketing and finance and everything in BST. So that is the one, that is a starting point for BMS. You also study accounts and economics. So I think from accounts and business studies, I sort of had an idea that I wanted to go in the business field.
I hope that has answered the question.
Okay.
Uh, what about the placement in SS
Okay.
CBS? We just kind of spoke about it in detail. Are the data analytics digital marketing
Uh,
certification courses from SCBS worth it? Sash, I'm sorry, you were saying something?
Yeah, so like Shiva mentioned, so obviously we cannot compare to an SRCC, and the track record for placements is getting better and better every year. And BCG has started a whole new culture of placements this year with CBS. But another important thing is that the CBS offers you a 90% placement rate. So even if you go to an SRCC or something, they have higher packages, better roles. But what SSCBS does, it ensures placements for maximum students. So that is one good thing of being in of being in CBS. So good you have a very good chance of getting placed somewhere. So a 90% placement rate is very difficult to achieve, and so you have a bit of a security about getting a placement. So I think
Okay.
that is one thing that appeals to me.
So basically, you're saying that agar, they try to make sure that all the students are placed. 90% का percent
Huh.
students का placement तो definitely हो जाता है, which is
Uh,
definitely, which is definitely good.
yeah, the record has been around 90% for some years now. So I think that's good. If 90% of the students are getting placed, it's a good achievement.
Yes, it definitely is. Uh, does CBS have any integrated programs? I think they're referring to any kind of, BBA plus MBA. Shivam, would
I
you like?
Yeah.
no.
No, they don't have any kind of an integrated program. Uh, are the data analytics digital marketing certification courses from Shaheed Sukhdev worth it?
So personally, I haven't applied for them, and I think you can easily reach out to people who have done on LinkedIn, and they might be better to answer that. these courses specifically didn't appeal to me because my domain was majorly finance and not digital marketing and data analytics. So yeah, you can reach out to the people who actually have done those courses.
Yeah, even I haven't applied for for the courses as such, but the authorities offering or the collaborations that they do them with are pretty good. So there's a finance course that happens with BSc. So the collaborations are pretty great, but it would be better to talk with somebody who has actually gone through the course.
All right. When should we start CAT preparation from? Hmm. So Shivam and Saisha, you have planning to take a 2-year break, but when are you planning to start the CAT preparation?
So I had plans to actually give CAT this November, and I'll be giving it. But so for that, I started it during January, February, and it was a start-stop thing where if I had a lot of work from college or maybe internships, then I didn't prepare for CAT. Otherwise, I used to study for CAT. So, but from what I get from a lot of people from my friends is that they started CAT very early and they lost steam midway and like they are not doing CAT right now. I think you should actually depend on how frequent and how motivated you are personally. So I am a person who can study like 7-8 hours a day, but for like 2 months, while people are there who can study like 2-3 hours a day for like 7-8 months. So you have to decide on the kind of person you are before actually doing this because there's no point losing steam once like you've studied. Like I know people started from October last year and are now nowhere. They're not giving CAT at all. So you don't want to be that person in the future.
Saisha?
I think I have the same opinion. Shivam covered everything. Even I've heard this from seniors that if you do it for a long time, you kind of lose track, and by the time cat actually comes, you are sort of burnt out. And again, since I'll be going for work now, I'll start with that. I haven't been preparing yet. So I decided on a break, so I'll be starting later only.
Okay. So to answer this particular question from the other side of the table,
Sure.
CAT कैसे कभी प्रिपेयर करना है, कैसे करना है, कब प्रिपेयर करना है, that depends upon the kind of comfort level you have with your studies. It's the consistency which really matters. The rigor needs to be there. दिन में 2 घंटे, but 2 घंटे has to be consistent. एक बार break हो गया, then you would lose it. CAT is not going to be a cakewalk. It is going to be a very difficult task. Only thing you would require here is the consistency. अगर फर्स्ट ईयर से भी प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो, सेकेंड ईयर अगर लगता है कि नहीं यार मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगी, आई डोंट थिंक you know 1 year is something which is lesser for me, start a little early, but consistency is the key. दिन में 2 घंटे, but that 2 घंटा needs to be put in every day without any excuses. That is how people actually achieve 99 percentile, or it's something which definitely is a like climbing Mount Everest, but it's going to be worth it for sure. Okay, moving to the next question. I think Shivam would be able to answer. Shivam, Palak is asking, you stayed only for one semester. Is it good or not? Hostel.
I think it really matters on the personal opinion again. I think I wasn't comfortable sharing with three people in a room. And secondly, I knew for a fact that either I'll be studying very hard for CAT or maybe prepare very hard for placements. Either of those I thought would be better if I get a personal room and a personal space for that. That's why I left. It wasn't about is the hostel bad. I think a lot of people enjoy like having company with them around all the time versus personally I feel that I need more me time and I need some time to actually like shut everything down and focus on studies myself. So it was more of that rather than like the hostel being very bad.
But how is the hostel facility overall? Did you find it good? Did you find it like average, survivable, pathetic,
I don't think it's like the best, but it's average. It's not bad.
average?
It's not very bad.
Survive कर लोगे, मतलब बिना तकलीफ के हो जाएगा.
हाँ, वो survival is not a problem. In fact, it's better than survival. So
Better than survival. Okay. So I think normally when people start, they normally start with their first 2 cents hostel में रह के just see, understand the vibe, and then they decide कि यहाँ रहना है or possibly move out of the hostel. So experience is the part of your life. Take the experience, see how exactly it works for you. I think again it's very subjective. किसी के लिए एवरेज बेस्ट हो सकता है, दूसरे के लिए और किसी का बेस्ट किसी और के लिए एब्सोल्युटली लो हो सकता है. So experience yourself, but as per the overall information which we have got, it's pretty decent. You would not complain much.
Hmm.
All right, we have last question, and with this I would not be taking questions because sawa 10 ho rahe hain. I'm sure that a lot of people who have not had dinner would be hungry. Okay. From which year should we start preparing? Anonymous attendee, what do you want to prepare for? You need to mention that. If it's for cat, we just answered that question. If I'm not too sure. So if there is anything else, please ping me on the Telegram handle. I can help you out accordingly on that. Class 12th best is BST is very theoretical, which gets boring to learn. If BMS also is theoretical to that extent, or is it doable? Sasha, I think BMS question you would be able to answer.
Yeah, so BMS is a mix of both practical subjects and theoretical. You have subjects like accounts also, you have subjects like quantitative techniques of management. So where you solve also like accounts and maths, and there are theory subjects also. And sometimes it would get boring, and obviously, like I found the concepts in BST interesting. Obviously, it was boring to learn. That happens for everybody. Again, it happens on the method of teaching, so that is pretty much okay. Nobody can guarantee not being bored in a theory subject, but yes, it is still fine. And I think BMS is pretty much doable, and you have a mix of both practical subjects, solving based subjects. You have software subjects also. So we get that in second year where you learn different softwares. So it is a mix of everything, and it is pretty much doable and interesting, I guess.
I think I have perspective here too. So in class 12, you actually had to give board exams, for which you had to know every line, every word of the book. In college, it's not that. You just have to score like above 90 percentile of people, or like get a 9 or a 10 CGPA. So you don't need to know every word. You just need to know the concept. And if you can apply this concept in questions, teachers generally give you marks. So it's not that you have to learn, like for example, this word means that this point is the answer. You have to mention that. It's not at all that. It's easily doable. So even though it's theory, you will not need to learn every word of it, which makes it bearable.
Okay. So it's basically समझ के आंसर अपने हिसाब से लिख दो, मार्क्स तो मिल जाएंगे, जो कि नॉर्मली होता नहीं है स्कूल्स में और 12th तक. Okay. Expected cutoff for Shaheed Sukhdev this year? I think it's very difficult to say. It's very difficult to
And I
say.
think that is something that we won't be able to answer because we didn't have the COET pattern.
Absolutely. And anonymous attendee, it's very difficult to say because I'm sure people are reading the newspapers because they know about live jati hai Shahid Sukhdev mein. Everybody's reading the newspaper. It's very difficult to say because इतने सारे बच्चे हैं जिनको इतने अच्छे मार्क्स आए हैं. A lot of them have got 100 percentile or 99 percentile. So we just have to wait and watch. If your scores are good, the chances of you getting into a good college would be very high. So if there are any further questions, I'm not taking any further questions because I can see sleepy faces. It's 10:15. I think it's time to say goodbye, and just want to take the opportunity. Thank you so much, Shivam and Saisha, for taking out time and speaking to our students, to me. I really appreciate that. And again, if you see these faces, please go say thank you to them and also say hi to them. It was really a pleasure connecting with both of you. And thank you so much. Thank you for being so helpful, Saisha and Shivam, and available. I know you guys are going through your placements, so all the best for your placements and for your future. If you need any support anytime, please connect with me. I will make sure that kind of there for both of you.
Thank you so much. It was great
Most
interacting with everyone.
Great.
Thank you so much. It was a great, yeah, it's me too.
Everybody is thanking you
It
in
was a
the
great
chat, both of
experience. It
you.
felt really good.
Great. Thank you so much.